TopVelocity was developed to provide a better method, a science-based method of training that would have the complete understanding, the complete package of not just increasing performance and velocity, but doing it with health as a huge focus. You know, people give me a hard time about Olympic lifting because it's like an advanced form of lifting. And when I say advanced, meaning like it's highly technical. There's no better lifts in the weight room to develop the coordination and the ability to put your body in the correct sequence, the correct position to get to a maximum force production. So I developed the 2-pound med ball drills because I needed to, for me personally, when I was coming back from my injury, I needed to recruit more of my body and less of my arm. Now you're starting to recruit the legs better, the core better, the trunk better, and now you have to get good at, you know, driving forces out of the ground, sequencing the hips and shoulders to get the energy to the arm, because the arm can't do it. So biomechanical analysis is a huge part of this, along with the evaluations of the athlete. We have to measure the joint mobility. We have to measure the athleticism, the jumps, the sprints, the strength. So we could sit here and debate what's the better exercises, what's the better training, but what's really hard to debate is the end result. It's more than just throwing 95 or 100. It's about the metrics that create that, and the metrics come from the body and then come from the body's movements. Here at TopVelocity, we have more 90-mile-an-hour testimonials than any other program in the world. And now you know why. All right, who's next? Who's throwing next? Are you warm? So I need you to get back there and get warm. You got to make sure there's always a guy getting warm. If they've gone through their mobility. Once they've gone through the mobility, just make sure that we always have a guy warm though. Do what? I don't want to go that depth. Let's just let it go. If you want to narrate it, you can narrate it. Yeah. Got to let this, once this puts all your biomechanics in, then we can start breaking it down. Do you have a camera? Do you want to film it or no? I got it on here. If you want me to send it to you, I can send it to you off of there. So, you want to just throw those in the locker? You got a bag or no? Probably not. I can't put it in that car. You can kind of come closer, and you can come around if you want. Once it's ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through your anatomy first, so we can see anything that's restricted here or limited here is going to affect how you're moving in your delivery. It goes through. No, I want them. See, we added in the arm care stuff, so it's slowing it down. But yeah, I don't want them because then it messes up the mobility measurements when they're warm.
They're running a little behind.
That's fine. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's not. You know, I'm just going to start walking through here. It should be done by that point. All right, so anatomy. So we're starting here, trunk rotation. It's a little tight, so that's when your thoracic rotation when you close your trunk off. So what that's going to limit is as your hips are opening, elite pitchers are able to keep their trunks back. That allows them to delay the end of the chain. You're going to be a little tight there, so it's going to take away from your ability to delay the chain. So all these things that we are identifying as restrictions, we need to work on and improve. Right? This will be improved in the mobility training. The hip abduction's tight, that was this movement. So that's going to affect, initially as you move down the mound, you move lateral before rotation. And the longer we can ride that movement down the mound before rotation, the more energy we're going to put through rotation. And rotation's really when you start translating and transferring the energy through. So you're going to be a little restricted in how much energy you can build down the mound. Your ankles are really weak, so that's going to affect ground force, your ability to push force to the ground. So we got to work on that. Your internal rotation is a little tight, so that was this movement, okay? So tighter on your left than your right, still a little tight. So what that does is this femur turning in is what opens my pelvis. I can't open my pelvis with my femur facing that way. My femur has to do that so my pelvis can open. So if you're tight in that movement, it's going to affect how well you can power your hip rotation, which we're going to see in your biomechanics. Your hip flexion is tight, so pretty much you got tightness in your hips. So we got to work through that. The hip flexion is going to affect how far you can put your trunk forward. That's key because that's energy pumping through the trunk that you're going to be restricted and not allowing it to fully move forward. You know, you hear coaches say, get over your front side. That's because that's important because that allows your trunk to accelerate longer. The more you accelerate your trunk forward longer, the more energy goes to the ball. Hip extension is tight, so if you're able to get into a good long stride, you're going to have a hard time extending through this part of the hip to push the pelvis open. Okay, so a lot of the challenges we're going to have mobility, and a lot of your mobility is affected by your strength. You can see your total body strength for your size actually wasn't too bad, but your grip strength is really poor, which is upper body strength. So you might have some good posterior chain strength, or maybe that's just core, I don't know. You've got some good strength in your total body strength, but grip strength of the body is really weak. So 120, 130 is average to be able to go into the 90s. So if you don't even have close to that, your arm's not going to want to go there because it's not going to be able to handle the forces up there. Okay, so we got to build a lot of upper body strength to where your body's going to be comfortable to want to put those kind of forces up the body. Your vertical jump is 25, so that's below average for your body weight. So that could be just your quickness, explosiveness, because it looks like you got some decent strength. Your broad, your lateral, you don't want it much more than a foot short of your broad, so it's than your linear, so it's a little bit shorter, and that could be because of that hip abduction and some of these mobility challenges. So that should improve that. So you have a lot to develop. You're 15, so you got a lot of years to do it. But this is what we need to focus over time. We need to see upper body strength getting better. We need to see the explosiveness getting better. We need to see the mobility getting better, and that's just going to help the mechanics over here. Okay, let's see if this is up. Okay, so if we take you through your delivery here, all right, coming out of leg lift, you're sitting well, but you're quick to, this thing kind of lost your front leg. So a little miss on the capture there, but actually, I got to do another one. Let's do another one real quick. I'll pause this. We'll just have 2 videos on you. Dang it, I didn't think it missed you. Let me, maybe another upload will help since you already put your shoes off. It says it even captured it, but it didn't. Let's try this. Come in here and cut this out. Start it right here, see if this helps. I might shift you over to the side while I get the next guy just to throw, and then wait till this renders. All right, who's up next? So when we're gonna try another one, I'm gonna get his throw in, and then I'll jump back and do your analysis. So just hang tight. start one up here. I'm gonna get your video in. I gotta jump back to their analysis, then we'll go to yours. You can throw those right there. Stretch is easier for the thing to pick you up, right? So stretch would be best. Yeah, just let me know when you're ready. I'm waiting for you to get warm. Okay, you ready? What? Yeah. And I'm gonna need a side pitch and a behind pitch. Ready? Okay. I'm gonna say go and then you'll go, okay? Do we have that blue ball? Hey, Noah, see if we got that blue ball, the pitch logic. Ready? On me. But be heads up. He's going to throw one right here. Ready? Come set. Go. We'll do one more. Come set. Go. Let me do one more from behind. Grab that blue ball. He's got it. Go up there. I'm gonna get one from behind here. Same thing. I'm gonna tell you. It picks up all your spin. I'll wait 1 second here. I gotta get this to go through. It takes a second. Almost. How old are you?
16.
You're doing good, man. You got a good velo.
What's my velo?
It's like 84.
I only hit 84 like 3 times on the ball.
That's awesome, man.
Before yesterday, my arm was hurting for like 3 weeks.
Where was it hurting?
It was like hurting up my shoulder. It was from like doing med balls, like stretching on, stuff like that.
Yeah, and see how your shoulder's a little in? We got to work on your posture. Yeah. All right, one more. Okay, come set. On you, go. You have Instagram?
Sir?
You have Instagram or no?
I'd have to look at my phone.
That's right, don't worry about it. I'll just post it. All right, hang out over here. I'm gonna get theirs in, and then you'll be next.
What's y'all's Instagram?
What?
Y'all's Instagram is
TopVelocity, yeah. You wanna come back? You can take them off. Here we go. Oh, except it drops you here. What is going on? Yeah, I can still get enough out of it. All right. All right, so taking you out of leg lift. I like where you sit, but I can see a lot of momentum in your lift leg right there. And you can see when it gets out here, your leg's already turning in at that point, like more right there, it's already turning in. So what's happening is you're letting your lift leg take you down the mound, and you really want to, it's got to be focused on your center of mass. So it's got to be focused on your hips. So like if this is your car, you want this accelerating. You don't want anything outside of the car accelerating. So pretty much that's what your leg is. It's outside of your center of mass, and it's trying to create the acceleration. So what it does is it throws all the timing off, because the force is kind of whipping, it's going to be whipping you around, as opposed to the forces in the car being accelerated through the car and then out of the car, right? So at this point right here, we want to feel the inertia in here as we sit and fall, okay? We've got to get the dominant force out of the lift leg. So be careful in your lift legs where you're so aggressive to go up and back, okay? Because it's going to disrupt how you're able to accelerate energy through your body. So one of the disruptions is when it gets out here, it starts to collapse the back leg. And that's bad because the back leg is the only leg on the ground, and we need to accelerate into landing, and that's the only leg that can do it. But if this leg is swinging out and pulling this or collapsing this, then what we do is we actually start to slow down into landing. So you'll see it landing right here. If we look at, this is the kinematic sequence. This is how everything's accelerating in rotation. You have like pelvis rotation, trunk rotation, shoulder rotation. You can see your pelvis rotation is considerably slower than your trunk rotation at this point. So, and you can see it here too. See how the middle bar is red and the top bar is red? That means this is peaking and that is peaking. We need this to peak before that. Okay, so think about it. If I'm throwing this leg out here, it's gonna pull my pelvis and my trunk together, right? If I shut this off and I'm just focusing on building my energy within my center of mass, then I'll get into a position where this isn't gonna pull me away, and now I can accelerate through the back leg to push the hip ahead of the trunk, because that's the elite movement. The hardest thing to do as a pitcher is to start the energy through the pelvis before the trunk. And because you're using your lift leg so aggressively, it's swinging everything together, so it's killing your ability to do that, okay? So that's the only way we're gonna be able to do this right, is we gotta shut your lift leg down and work on your back leg. So for here, it's all going together. It's kind of the computer's dropped it a little bit, but it's all going together at this point. And to kind of add to it into front foot, because you don't really have a lot of inertia momentum, your trunk is going early forward, and it's going really hard contralateral or in rotation, because that's trying to help this come around. So it's like this didn't do a good enough job of bringing everything around, so now you're having to add to it and really swing and lean that way, right? These are all inefficient ways to build the forces to the ball, right? So we want to be hitting front foot and the drive and the momentum projecting us forward to release. We don't want to be hitting front foot and we just keep swinging and falling off to bring around the arm to accelerate the arm, right? So it's kind of like you got to go back to the drawing board and you got to shut the lift leg off. You got to learn to strictly build your momentum here in your center of mass. Load up the drive leg, but you did well. You just had too much forces pulling through the front leg. And then get your peak of power through your back leg as this stays back. And then what's gonna happen is this is gonna push ahead, and that's gonna be your dominant force, and then this is gonna follow all that. Right now, this is just following this. This went like this, everything's just following in that direction, right? So you're gonna learn how to do this better, like the King of the Hill plates. If you're probably gonna get on the King of the Hill and have a hard time popping the plate because you're used to using your front leg for power. Now this is gonna start using your back leg for propulsion and power. So the King of the Hill plates is gonna help you develop that. Also too, we saw your ankles were weak. So it's probably because you don't have a lot of power down there that you're trying to go somewhere else to create it, right? So we need to build the body a little bit more explosive, specifically in the lower leg, to make this of an easier transition to start using the body better. If you see here on the forward trunk aspects, let's see. This is maximum external rotation. You're about 13 degrees forward, okay? And you're still coming around in rotation. At that point, an elite guy, he'd be squared up and open, and he'd be about 30 degrees forward, okay? So it's not too bad. Some guys at this point that'll be in here, they'll be negative. They'll still be, their arms loading, and they're still way back here, not using all that, or they don't have enough forward momentum to take them forward, that's velocity. When you can pump all that energy through your trunk forward, that's where the velo is. So I do like, at landing, you have a good stable front leg and you're letting your trunk get out. It's just all too rotational and flying off because of your lift leg, okay? So if we can better direct your momentum through your back leg in a more linear propulsion as opposed to that swinging rotational one, it's going to be a big jump in velocity. It's also healthier on your arm too. As far as spin, and this is what will happen too. Well, actually, this was his. Let me see. Yours was, what was your velo? Do you remember your velocity on here?
It was on like 81.
81. Jumped. So here, it wasn't too bad. Like actually, is this the right one? Let me make sure I get the right one. No, it's not. This is it right here. Yes, actually really good spin. So super good spin on the ball. So,
his TrackMan data's been pretty good.
Phenomenal. Yeah, it looks like it's really good. And it's probably just because really good front leg. So when you stabilize your front leg, a lot of the energy more efficiently jumps into the ball, and then you get better, acceleration through the arm. So the spin axis is good, the total spin is really good, the vertical, everything's good. And to be honest, like, you being over there is not a bad thing. It's just that's just where you're going over there to help bring everything around. I want to be contralateral from foot position and not flying contralateral. I want to be contralateral this way, but then going forward, because I really like the vertical position of the ball, the spin axis of the ball, because it gives you insane lift. But I want it with more velo. Can we do that 90 plus? And that's when you're not spinning off so hard, when you got more lower half power, more forward trunk power at the end. That's going to be big on the velocity. So all these principles are applied in the training. So go and finish all your measurements, and then we're going to jump into the training.
Just me or?
Oh, sorry, I gave you the wrong one. Is that the right one? Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, you're right. All right, good. Ready, man? We'll break it down?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, talk again. Well, I already posted it. If I post it on the reels, I'll put that on there.
Yes, sir.
Maybe at the end of the day, text it to me. I'll post it on the reels. All right, let's go back to here.
So was I actually like sitting here, or was I just like touching?
You were at 83, 84.
I usually sit like 80.
What?
I usually sit like 88.
That was good, dude. No, it was 83, 84. Like this pitch, it might come up right here. Let me see. Or sometimes it cuts off too early. Did it even get the whole thing? Yeah, I cut it off, but I have it on the main one. This one was 84. You threw two 84s and then an 83 on the Instagram. All right, so we're gonna walk through everything here. This is your spin over here. You had good spin. Your slot is down a little bit, so we'll look at that, and your spin efficiency is probably down because of that. But let's look.
My spin like low?
No, your spin was good, really good. I mean, super good spin. But it's like something's causing your slot to drop. So what's happening?
It's always been like,
well, that's.
I would like cut my arm, and it would like cause me to like have to get back.
No, it's really not that. The arm follows the trunk, but when you land, it's too rotational. So what happens is, the arm is going to stay in flexion if your trunk's going forward. If you're pulling too hard in rotation, your arm's going to fly out. So your at landing are too rotational, which is harder on your arm
Pulling my glove.
too. So you were talking about arm pain. This is some of your issues with arm pain. This scap is too far out. So I'm going to tell you right now, you do not need to throw a lot until you fix this, because you're going to keep going into arm pain. So this scap has to be here. So you have to walk around with this scap like this, because we've got to strengthen that. But just doing that helps. Just be careful. You'll fatigue this, and then you'll go throw, and then it'll dump even more. But this posture forward, when you lift your arm up, it causes impingement. Yeah. So you want to get rid of an impingement. You get to here now. Now lift your arm up. That way, like you're throwing. Like cock your arm back. Okay. See, doesn't it feel freer back there? Then if I turned it this way, it'd be like, ugh.
Because when I was younger, I could lay my arm down.
Yeah, but your posture is getting bad. So be careful with phones. Yeah. Be careful sitting. You're literally setting your arm up for injury the more you do this. You got to be the opposite. You got to be in class, pinch these blades together down here, like pinch my fingers. Yeah, but try to get it down here. See, that's where you want to be pinching. When you can literally pinch my finger and you can put a pencil down there and you can pinch it together, you're in good posture. Keep that in your head because that'll prevent you from blowing your arm.
So like when I was like, it was like middle of the season, probably earlier, like I felt just like something like right down. What was that? It's not,
because you're so rotational, you're flying out. So when my arm flies out, pop, it slams that olecranon.
Yeah,
pop.
so it like makes like a pop.
Pop.
So
if you can move more forward with your trunk, you're going to stay here. Everything's going to go like this as opposed to like that.
Yeah, because I would like just constantly feel like
it's not good. You know, guys actually break. Well, the electricity's the owner. That's the funny bone. But guys actually can break the tip of the olecranon. It comes from here.
Yes, sir.
So you got to look. You got to first, to really understand mechanics, you got to start from your body and see what your body's doing. So, like your trunk rotation, we're going to start there. It's a little tight, so we could definitely get more core strength, and that's posture here too. It's like the more you get in this position, the more your thoracic's going to bend. The more you're going to bend like that, right? And then if you can bend that way, then you can bend this way, right? So like, watch this. Pinch your blades. Now turn. See how much more you can turn? Watch, turn your blades in. Now turn. See, it's tighter. So the better posture is going to give you more trunk rotation. Okay. Hip abduction's really poor. It's crazy you throw so hard. It's got to be your speed. You got to be quick. So you're fast. Yeah.
I used to be slow and I was still throwing like 78, but that was like 3 years ago.
But you're probably, quick like this too, yeah. So hip abduction's tight. That's this movement. That's a problem because when you come out of your leg lift, you're trying not to rotate early. Like the worst thing you could do, hitting and pitching, is to come out of your leg lift and just go like this. So you're staying here longer because that gives you energy that then you can push through your body as you rotate.
Longer strides.
Yeah, but the point is you're tight. So it's cutting that off, and we're gonna see what it's doing to your leg. And when I see too many things that are cutting off your momentum to go forward, that's when you get too rotational. So your ankles are weak too. So your dorsiflexion, ankle extension is weak. So that means it's gonna affect how much force you can push off the ground. But you're so young, man, or you're 16.
I just turned 16.
Okay, so yeah, but now's the time to really push for this, but you still got time. Internal rotation's a little tight, so that the only way my pelvis opens is if I spin my femur. So if it's tight on how far I can bring it, now it's gonna affect how far I can open my hip, and that's critical. High velocity pitchers have more open hip position at landing. Your hip flexion's tight. You're tight, man, and we got to get stronger because it helps that.
Yeah, I haven't done any type of workout.
Your grip strength is weak. We got to improve your grip strength. That's leading to some of your arm pain. You definitely don't have enough grip strength. Your total body strength is not that great. Your 10 yard, what was that, 1.7?
4.
Yeah, actually, that's all right.
I know.
Let me look through this. You probably sync up pretty well. You probably time things well. Your broad to linear is good ratio, but you definitely can get more broad. You can get, your vert's good, but I bet you at 225 it comes down hard. Meaning when I put more weight on your body, you lose your speed quickly. And that's what forces, that's what's moving through a long stride and pushing force to your body, is you're putting more force on your body, and if you start considerably slowing down, it doesn't translate to velocity that well. All right, so let's go over here. All right, so coming out of leg lift here, that hip abduction we talked about. So you start opening right there, and that's too vertical. That shin's too vertical. That shin needs to get linear. Okay, so but that's the tightness you had in here. So it's causing you to open early. You're trying to drive into landing, but it's causing you to open early, and it's causing a short stride. It's causing when you land, your pelvis rotation is barely moving. And you can even see the red line in the middle and the red line at the top. That means your pelvis and trunk are peaking together. We don't want them to peak together. The pelvis has to peak first. So because you're tight here, it starts to kill your back leg position and power. Yeah. Right. It's because you're so tight. We got to work on that. You're tight here. Basically, your legs it's trying to drive. It's mostly collapsing. So it's not propelling your energy forward. It's not propelling your pelvis rotation. So what happens is you're getting to this position here with not the power to push through rotation. So what happens is everything just comes together in rotation. And when you do that, everything stays in rotation. So your release points are almost straight up and down. You're literally like a shortstop at this point. You're like, right? You're not like a big league pitcher being like out here. So the point is, you'll be throwing 95 based on what you just did today when you do that. So I mean, that's the plus here, is that you're barely moving the body dynamic in a dynamic movement to get mid 80s. Just imagine when you do that at 200 pounds, and you can do that faster and farther.
I have a metabolism at about the highest you can get.
Well, I'm sure you're 16.
I can eat one day. Like, this was like 2 months ago. Like, I was just like going on just like full eating. I didn't take my medicine, nothing. I went to McDonald's. I had.
What medicine you taking?
ADHD, man.
That's your problem.
No, I can't. I haven't had it. My ADHD is at the max. Like,
all right, well, let me just tell you, that medicine will not allow you to get bigger.
Yeah,
that's the challenges of it. It's going to eat up a lot of your muscle mass.
One day I had 7,800 calories.
Yeah, because it's the medicine. So ideally, you need to figure out a strategy to combat that, because it's going to hurt. It can hurt your mass gain if that's what you're going for. So a forward trunk tilt at release is 7 degrees. So an elite guy would be 40 degrees. Not only that, he'd have a more linear front. So the front leg would be more linear, the hips would be lower, and the trunk would be forward. So
right now I'm basically forward.
Well, the point is you're not loading your lower half well enough. You're not powering it well enough, and because of that, you're just finishing so rotational, and it's hard on your arm, like we were showing. Like, because you're just accelerating, you're not accelerating forward, so you have to accelerate fast in rotation, and then it's hard on your arm because you're putting your arm through a lot of torque. Your spin's really good, and that's probably what's causing too much horizontal movement. You're probably getting too much fly out at the end. If you were going more forward, you'd probably be right there. It'd probably be all in vertical access. But because it's so rotational, it's flying out. You're dropping probably a 10-degree slot because of how rotational you are.
I'm sure that's from just like throwing all speed so much, because like all speed is like my best pitch. I can throw all speed.
Well, you have so much spin, that's why. So you're really good at spinning the ball. So that's why you like your all speeds. But right now, don't worry about your all speeds as much. I would focus on the mechanics, all the physical development, and watching this come up as you get more linear. And then, your all speeds are going to change a little bit when you change your spin axis. But I think it's really good, man. We just got to help you get more mobile, bigger, stronger, faster, and it'll be there. Okay, keep getting all your metrics. Who's up now?
Where do I go now?
Just go, like Noah will help you find the next ones you got to do. Who we got?
Everyone who loves baseball ultimately dreams of having their own facility. The problem we found, 99% of the time, they struggle keeping the doors open with the traditional model of cage space rental and lessons. But the main problem is that most facilities have no product. Players training with one coach, next year someone else, they have a different approach, so that's not always the most predictable. It's a little frustrating. We wanted to do better. We build relationships and products around something that is a system, and it's been the most complete product in the game for many years. We want to give business owners something to sell to the community that they can believe in, become a part of. We continue to push this industry to do better. We want to push our coaches to do better, and more importantly, with less injury and more understanding. So as our business models are established, a player at the age of 6, 7, 10 can get in and get started and prevent these injuries that are happening mid-year because they learned how to do things right at an earlier age. When they go through this program and things start to click for them again, just like we see with a lot of our major leaguers that come in, they always say, geez, just imagine if I had gotten this when I was 10, 12. This program is all about player development, just as much as it's about business development now. With our performance centers, we're able to take these advanced methods and bring them to a community, not only to build a business that is something that is built on a product, built on results, but also provide a course of study and a progression for a player. So with the TopVelocity Performance Center business model, this is something that an individual can easily produce a 6-figure income within the first year of them starting. You could put 5 different gyms in one city, and a TopVelocity gym is going to stand out. And the reason that it stands out is not only because of the results, but because of the culture and the community that we're trying to build. So let's get started today. Reach out to us, whether you're a team, coach, individual, facility. We have options to work with you and partner with the TopVelocity methods across the country.
TopVelocity was developed to provide a better method, a science-based method of training that would have the complete understanding, the complete package of not just increasing performance and velocity, but doing it with health as a huge focus. You know, people give me a hard time about Olympic lifting because it's like an advanced form of lifting. And when I say advanced, meaning like it's highly technical. There's no better lifts in the weight room to develop the coordination and the ability to put your body in the correct sequence, the correct position to get to a maximum force production. So I developed the 2-pound med ball drills because I needed to, for me personally, when I was coming back from my injury, I needed to recruit more of my body and less of my arm. Now you're starting to recruit the legs better, the core better, the trunk better, and now you have to get good at, you know, driving forces out of the ground, sequencing the hips and shoulders to get the energy to the arm, because the arm can't do it. So biomechanical analysis is a huge part of this, along with the evaluations of the athlete. We have to measure the joint mobility. We have to measure the athleticism, the jumps, the sprints, the strength. So. Once it captures, I'm gonna break it down. Actually, I'm gonna just start here. It should be done by the time I get there. All right, so best to go through the anatomy so you can understand how your anatomy is affecting your delivery. Trunk rotation, you're a lefty, so it's actually looks better on your right side. So you're restricted there. So how the trunk rotation can affect you is as your hips are opening, an elite pitcher can hold his trunk back longer to delay, push more energy up. So you're a little tight there, so it's going to affect how long you can keep your trunk back. Your hip abduction left side's a little better than your right, but it's a little tight. I mean, it's not too bad, but the hip abduction was this one. And that's important because if the worst thing we can do as pitchers is just start rotating right out of the gate, because that's when we start translating energy. So what we do is we stay closed and we try to build as much energy down the mound before we go into rotation. So if this is a little tight, then it's going to stop. You're going to want to stop going down the mound because you're hitting into range. So we definitely need to work on that. Your ankles are weak. That's just going to affect how you push forces off the ground. Your internal rotation is weak, this movement, okay? Pelvis rotating is critical to move, or the femur rotation is critical to drive the pelvis rotation. So it's like I can't bring my hip around if I don't turn this inward. Now it can come around, okay? So when you're a little tight in femur rotation, now you're not going to be able to fully open your hip. And the high velocity pitchers open their hips more at landing than low velocity pitchers, okay? So that's going to affect that. We got all these things, we're addressing them because they need to be worked on, to improve, right? Yeah, so like the mobility program is addressing all of this. The 81 is a little limited on your hip flexion. So a lot of pelvis tightness we can work on. That's going to affect how well your trunk can go forward. Your hip extension is a little tight, not too bad, but a little tight. Your horizontal adduction up here was a little tight, and your grip strength's weak. So your upper body's weak. You know, at 17, we got to have a stronger upper body than that. So what that means is your upper body's not going to want to handle a lot of force.
Yeah.
Now we're not trying to like push a lot of forces our upper body, but there's a certain amount of forces we got to handle.
Yeah.
And about 135 is average. We're trying to get to 160.
Yeah.
So you're half of that. So that means we need about double your upper body strength so we can handle the forces that you want it. You want it to handle 90-mile-an-hour forces.
Yeah.
So we got to have at least double the strength to do that. Okay. If not, the joints aren't going to want to take the load because they're going to have a hard time compressing and protecting the joint. So total body strength is weak. We need to your overall strength can get better. You've got too much difference between your broad and your lateral, and that's probably because your hip abduction and your hip internal rotation. So we want to move power through all planes of movement. You move it forward fairly well. You move it up fairly well. I have a feeling when we put you in the 225 load, your power is going to come down because you don't have enough strength. Because that's the thing is high velocity pitchers put a lot of forces on their whole body when they move. And if I start pushing forces down on your body and then your speed starts shutting off, that's going to affect your velocity. So we want to be able to get stronger. So when I put a load, I make you hold 225, which is the major league average weight, I want to see you jump close to 30 inches. If you're jumping 24 inches, that means you're not strong enough to keep your explosiveness when forces are hitting your body over your body. So that's what we'd have to build. Like your 10-yard can get quicker. So you have a lot of room of improvement. So it's that whole bigger, stronger, faster, more mobile is what you need to just focus on. Let's look at your biomechanics. So the point is like this is going to tell us a lot of how you can pitch, right? Okay. So coming out of leg lifts. Okay. I like how you stay back, you stay closed. Here's that point where your hip abduction is probably limiting you. You do a good job at not trying to create momentum with your lift leg. You keep it closed off and it allows your drive leg to do the work. It's just your drive leg is in a point where it's still too vertical and it can't go more down.
Okay.
Basically, we need it to keep coming down so then when it drives, it accelerates us forward. Yours is still a little too vertical, which is that mobility issue. So when you're ready to drive, it doesn't really do much. So then as you're landing, it's literally still stuck almost sideways on the ground, on the mount. It should be like, boom, all the way rotated, all the way extended through. That's what an elite guy would do. So that's where you're leaving a lot of power there. It's leaving your hip back here. And when you land with your hip back here, this has a hard time stabilizing because stability of the front leg is dependent on rotation. Because if I'm landing and my pelvis is rotating, it's actually helping the front leg stabilize, right? So because your hip is kind of dead now you don't have that rotation. Now this thing is like, it's having a hard time, right? So from here, you can see your hips and shoulders peak going together. So look at the pelvis line and the shoulder line. They're going red together. That means they're peaking together. We don't want that.
Yeah.
An elite guy, he peaks the hip, then the trunk, then the arm. And it's this sequence that builds and accelerates energy so much better. It's the whip theory or the whip phenomenon, right? You can make a whip break the sound barrier because you can delay it or you can counter its forces, right? I'm going to throw the handle forward, but I'm going to throw the end back, and that forces it to accelerate. So the thing is If like the whip, if I'm throwing it all together, it's not going to be as effective as if I'm creating that counter movement. Just like here, if I'm just bringing everything together, not going to be as effective as if I'm countering each movement. Boom. That's where it builds energy way better. So if your pelvis is not rotating well and your back leg didn't create enough force, that's what kills your pelvis rotation. So you see it landing, you have barely any pelvis rotation. Your pelvis rotation speed should be higher in your trunk rotation speeds right here. And yours are behind. Yours are almost, it's starting to catch up there, but at this point, going into front foot, it's considerably behind. Okay. Your pelvis rotation is probably peaking actually you have good pelvis rotation speeds overall. It's just too late. It's peaking too late. It's peaking like right here. So you can see too, when you sequence them apart, the back hip starts pushing ahead of the back shoulder. Yeah. Now you take these rotational pivots and they start pushing linear forces. But when they come together, it just spins everything off together like a tornado. And then everything stays vertical. So your release point, your trunk is just very vertical, right? Yeah. An elite guy, he'd have extension of the front leg and then his trunk would be getting so much farther out at that point. And you can see here at maximum externalization back here, you're minus 2 degrees in your trunk. So your trunk at maximum externalization is actually back 2 degrees. An elite guy would be forward 30 degrees. Okay. But that's also too because your front leg is not extending. When that front leg extends, that's what helps get that trunk going forward. So
snap that front leg.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to do that if you keep landing hips closed. It can't. It's too much. Yeah. You need to get the hip rotation coming through. That helps.
You want to land on hip rotation.
Yeah, you want to be landing before you land. Hip rotation is starting to peak, okay. And then when you land, it goes boom and it slams. Okay. That's what you want. So, but the point is, we've got to fix the mobility, the strength issues, the explosiveness issues. Yeah. You got to be able to see. The problem is studies show up to 250% of your body weight can hit your front leg. Yeah. So the problem is when we started putting forces over your body weight, your body starts slowing down. Yeah. We got to get stronger, more powerful to when I start putting forces on your body, you don't start slowing down. Because that's what's going to allow you to keep accelerating through those forces. Cool? You have good spin efficiency. Too much horizontal though.
You end up sending us all this stuff.
Well, we're filming it right now. But I mean, if you want to take a picture of it, take a picture of it.
I just didn't know. I didn't know.
Well, it actually this is going to
breakdown stuff. You sent if that's part of the deal that you sent.
Well, it's on here.
It's on there. Okay.
Or you got it there. I can be happy to give you this.
That's fine.
But we do have these. This is all in a profile on TopVelocity.club.
Okay. Sir.
Go on TopVelocity.club. You'll be able to pull up your profile, and you'll be able to see all this. Because this, it's a good point. This is your base measurements. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as we eval from here, we're trying to build from this and go up. That's the key here.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Can you give us specific exercises to work on?
So the way,
tailored to individual.
So the way we do it, all good questions. The way we do it, and I'm going to talk about this afterwards, is we all need to work on all these aspects. And what you're finding is there's not things you're really good at and things you're bad at. I mean, there is on small details, but overall, you need to get everything on. Yeah. So, and that's very common at your age. Yeah. At your age, it's not like, oh, your mobility is great, oh, your strength's great. Let's not work on that at all. Yeah. No, it's like you got to work on everything. Where it starts to get more customized is when you've been in this in a couple of years and I see things plateauing. Yeah. Then I'll be like, all right, I want you on level 2. I want you, spending more time here, and here, and then we can start customizing. Okay. So customization needs to come when you become more of a trained athlete. Okay. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll keep getting the measurements, and then we got a lot more work to do. So yeah, if you want to take any pictures of that, take pictures of
it. Where do I go now?
Let's see, you got to finish your Y balance. They didn't get all your Y balance. Okay. Tell them you got to finish your Y balance. You got to get your 225 vert and your rotational speed.
Okay.
Cool. Who we got next? Perfect. You got cleats, or you're going to go like that? It's fine.
I guess I got
That's fine. Go ahead. All right, be heads up. He's going to throw. Hey, I think we should. Whenever you're ready, let me know. All right. So you're gonna come set, I'll say go. Go. All right, I'm gonna upload this to the AI capture, and then we're gonna do a behind shot.
Okay.
I need the blue ball. Anybody got the blue ball? Go down there and look for it's blue seams. It's the pitch logic ball. Anybody see the blue ball? Look in any of in those things over there. Yeah, seams are blue. People's asking what kind of glove is that, 44? Yeah, 44. Okay, you ready? Same thing, come set. All right, on you. I'll go get it. I don't want you to look bad on Instagram. Everybody's gonna hate you. Huh? I gotta get you throwing a strike. Everybody's gonna hate you. No, I mean, keep your velo up, but just try to get it in the zone. You're flying off a little bit. Stay closed a little longer. Keep it moving forward. Pick your spot, go at it hard. On you, go. There you go, that was a good one. That was good. Yeah. Just don't want, hey, do you have an Instagram or no?
Yeah.
You wanna post it? You wanna tag it?
Yeah.
Mid-80s, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, put the blue ball just in that basket. All right, I'm gonna record it. All right, you ready? So, go through your anatomy first. Trunk rotation left side. Why is it so much better than your right side? Have you hurt your trunk or your core, your back?
No.
Okay.
I guess I used to do hurdles in high school, and that probably would.
You should be a lefty pitcher. Jeez, look at all that. That's what we would need. We need that kind of trunk rotation. Because what that affects is we're trying to drive the hips open as we keep the trunk back. So if at 60, you're going to be restricted, and as your hips are fully open, you're going to be restricted trying to hold your trunk back.
Okay.
Hip abduction's tight too, so that's this movement. That's tight, 43. So that's going to affect how you keep moving down the mountain. So the reason we don't just open up and throw initially is because we need to build energy before rotation, because that's when we funnel the energy. So what we do is we stay closed and we start striding, and that's that lateral stride. Well, the more we do that, the more energy we create there, that's more energy we can push up at the end, right? So you're a little tight there, that's gonna restrict, it's gonna cut off the time or the vector, your back leg being able to get linear enough to really peak forces before rotation. So we gotta work on that. All these things we're pointing out to work on. Your ankles are weak, 6 degrees. It's gonna affect your ground forces. Your hips, flexion's weak. Everybody has pretty much the same one. Like everybody's literally measuring the same, which is common, you know. Your hip extension is tight. So pretty much all your movements in your hip are tight. So you're gonna have, this is gonna be a tight movement. This is gonna be a tight movement. This is gonna be a tight movement. So what's gonna happen is your body's gonna wanna stay shorten up. It's not gonna wanna open up as much. It's gonna be harder for you to get to open up.
Yeah.
Your grip strength, how old are you?
19.
Okay. So your grip strength is weak for your age. Your total body strength is average, a little below average. Was it 24 on your 225? I think it was.
Yeah.
So you need to get stronger because you had a decent vert at 202 is what you weigh. So you had a good vert for that, but you're losing. Looks like you're losing a lot of it when you added 25 pounds. So definitely could get stronger, more explosive. Your laterals are shorter, too short from your broad. That's because of your hip abduction tightness. So that mobility will help you basically move your power through all planes. Your front movements are weak. That means your knees are weak. So I see weak ankles, weak knees, weak grip, weak forearm. So definitely a lot of strength needs to be built. And speed and power, because your 10 yards too slow. So stronger but faster. So it's like, yeah, I want you to get stronger, but if you don't get faster as you get stronger, we're not going to see it translate well.
Yeah.
So right now I want both, and that's the explosive aspects of the training that we do. So coming out of leg lift, you can see right there, you're starting to drive at that point. So that's still not linear enough. This shin has to get, like I'm sprinting. The shin has to get down, so when I'm ready to open and drive, it pushes everything forward and through. Mm-hmm. And you can see, because of your hip abduction, it's probably not going any farther. You're driving a little early. So that's why when you land here, your hips don't even rotate. That's why your foot is still sideways. So if the shin was more linear, when you went to drive, you would actually see your pelvis turn, right? So because of that hip abduction tightness, it's hard for you to load that shin down and push that hip into rotation.
Yep.
I like how closed you're landing. I like how closed your trunk is. Problem is, and because of that, because you stayed so close to your trunk and your front leg, your pelvis rotation is not too bad. Look, it's actually above your trunk rotation, which is very few guys can do that in here. So you're getting your pelvis rotation ahead, and it's because you landed so closed, and you got just enough force out of that drive to get a peak, get your pelvis a little bit ahead. That's great. To see that, that's a huge plus. Now it's just get your legs more explosive, because what'll happen is your pelvis will power harder, and you'll create even more separation, and you're gonna get a bit of explosion of energy going forward. Mm-hmm. So you're already in a really good place that it takes a lot of people a long time to develop. From here, what's happening now is your front leg stability is garbage. So now you did so great to land separated, and then now your front leg gives out. So you lose it all.
Yeah.
So now it all kind of catches back up, and then you start pulling your head. So you lose stability to translate your power. To overcompensate, you start pulling your head, and everything pretty much finishes. I mean, and you're still trying to stabilize your leg. It's still giving out. And you're strong enough to force it through at the end. You get forward at the end, but it really comes down to your leg power. We've got to be able to catch all that good hip to shoulder separation and stabilize it. If we look at your trunk position forward at maximum external rotation, it's about 5 degrees. Elite would be a little bit more front leg extension, which goes back to your front leg not stabilizing, and you'd probably be at 25, 30 degrees, and you'd be right there. So it's really, you're just not explosive. We got to get your legs more explosive. And when I say that, what I mean is under load, like not just body weight, but when I put you under load, you stay just as powerful, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I like to see guys do it in the lifts, because I put them like in a clean, I put them under load, and boom, and they still have that power.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in a position where you put something, because like studies show 250% of your body weight can hit your front leg. You don't want to be in a position where you're holding 130% of your body weight, which on top of your body weight, that's like 230%, and you can barely move, because that's where we need the power to be, right? So you just got to start building more explosive energy, more explosive power. This is all good spin. The spin efficiency could get better, but it's probably because you're unstable. If your front leg gets more stable, your spin efficiency probably will improve. Things will accelerate a little better, but it all looks good, except for your lower half. We just got to make that more explosive. Cool. Yeah. So the lifts, all the Olympic lifts, all the speed and agility stuff, that's huge for you. That'll get you into the 90s. You considerably go up in your Olympic lifts, your speed and agility gets better, you'll break through. Cool.
Yeah.
What are you trying to play? You playing college ball or what?
Yeah, I'm through my first year now.
Good. Well, this is what gets you over 90, and then maybe gives you a chance to play after college. So.
Yep, that's the plan.
Right on.
Thank you.
Who we got? Perfect. You got spikes you want to wear or no?
Yeah, I do actually. I'll put them on.
Perfect. Go to that. TopVelocity was developed to provide a better method, a science-based method of training that would have the complete understanding, the complete package of not just increasing performance and velocity, but doing it with health as a huge focus. You know, people give me a hard time about Olympic lifting because it's like an advanced form of lifting. And when I say advanced, meaning like it's highly technical. There's no better lifts in the weight room to develop the coordination and the ability to put your body in the correct sequence, the correct position to get to a maximum force production. So I developed the 2-pound med ball drills because I needed to, for me personally, when I was coming back from my injury, I needed to recruit more of my body and less of my arm. Now you're starting to recruit the legs better, the core better, the trunk better, and now you have to get good at, driving forces out of the ground, sequencing the hips and shoulders to get the energy to the arm, because the arm can't do it. So biomechanical analysis is a huge part of this, along with the evaluations of the athlete. We have to measure the joint mobility. We have to measure the athleticism, the jumps, the sprints, the strength. So we could sit here and debate what's the better exercises, what's the better training, but what's really hard to debate is the end result. It's more than just throwing 95 or 100. It's about the metrics that create that, and the metrics come from the body and then come from the body's movements. Here at TopVelocity, we have more 90-mile-an-hour testimonials than any other program in the world. And now you know why. So I just need a side shot when you're ready, and then I'm gonna do a behind shot as well. What? Good. You ready? Yeah, I just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay, on me. Come set. Come set. Go. I'm gonna upload this. Grab the blue ball. We do from behind shot. I'll tell you when. I gotta upload this first, so gotta give me a second on this. Takes a little while. Upload. Yeah, you're good with that. I'm just waiting for this to finish. Once this finishes, we can go. All right. I'll tell you when. You come set. On you, go. You got Instagram?
Yeah.
You want to tag yourself?
Sure.
All right, come over here. Yeah, if you want to change, your shoes too? Or we can wait till after change shoes, it's fine. You can record it, I'm gonna record it. Yeah, you can record anyway, audio, whatever you want. All right. So walking through your anatomy first. So tight trunk rotation right off the bat. So what that affects is elite pitchers drive their hips ahead of their trunk. And the more they can separate, the more energy they can translate up and they can multiply up. So you're tight there. So the point is, as you're driving your hips, you're gonna have a hard time standing
I'm
back.
not separating a lot.
Well, what that means is your anatomy doesn't even rotate well that way. So we've got to improve that mobility and that strength to be able to do that. If not, we're not going to get it in the delivery, right?
Gotcha.
Hip abduction's a little tight, and this has been common to everybody today. That's this movement. Remember, we strive to build energy before rotation, before we translate it up, right? So this movement here is going to affect how long we can stride. If we're too tight there, it's going to cut that off, so then we cut off energy. So you're going to be a little tight there. Your ankles are weak. It's going to affect ground forces. Your hip flexion's tight, so it can affect how well you can throw your trunk forward. Your hip extension is tight. It's going to affect how well you can drive your hip through. Your internal rotation is tight, so you're pretty much tight across the board, which is common. We got to work on mobility through ankles, knees, hips, trunk. You're 19.
Yes.
Your grip strength's weak, so that's going to affect the forces your upper body can handle. And 90-mile-an-hour forces are going to be, you're going to need 130 to 160 to be comfortable with those forces. Your vertical jump is poor for your body size. Your strength is average, but your speed is poor, and that's such a key factor to velocity, because velocity is a speed component. Like your 10 yards too slow, so if we don't get faster, it's going to be harder to throw harder.
Yeah.
So we've got to get speed and agility training, explosive training, and the Olympic lifts. These things are going to help you get quicker. So here's the thing: if you, a lot of guys come into here and they're good at strength and they buy in more to the strength of this program. That's not really going to help you as much as if you buy into all the speed and the Olympic stuff, all the explosive stuff. That's where you're going to really see changes, improvements. Your forward movements, your wide balance are weak. That means your knees are weak. Okay, so you have some joint weakness, but some overall decent strength.
Yeah.
But we got to work on some of these joint strength. So let's look at it into your biomechanics here. And it's not ready. Well, while that's coming, we'll look at your spin. So your spin is you don't have a lot of spin on the ball, which I typically find guys that aren't fast don't have a lot of spin.
Yeah.
Guys that are quick, things are, typically it has a strong correlation to your own velocity, but typically guys that move fast typically have better spin. The guys that move slow, even though they can put a lot of force in the ball and get some decent velo, they don't have a lot of spin. So you can actually play it both ways. You could play down, like you could play with little spin. It creates a perception that you're not throwing hard, and then it jumps in on them a little bit. It's that hard ball, right? Your spin efficiency was good. Your vertical to horizontal ratio was good. You're a guy who probably should really get good at splitties, at change-ups. Just basically your spin's already poor, because anything you try to spin and break, it's not going to spin well.
Yeah.
You probably don't throw good breaking balls. They're probably loopy. Yeah. So you need to be more of like a splitty guy or change-up guy. Like get really good at change-up and splitties. You probably dominate with those pitches, right? Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And that's just because you're spin. All right. Let's see if this has come around. All right. There it goes. All right. So taking you out of leg lift. Okay. Talk about that hip abduction getting tight. See, your shin is so vertical. It's like a sprinter. If you were trying to sprint from that shin position, you'd want to jump up. That shin's got to come down, lateral, down. So when we open and we drive, it really pushes things forward. It pushes the hip around. So because of your hip abduction, your tight hips, you're not getting low enough. So what you're doing is, because this isn't going to create a lot of power, you're throwing your glove up here. So when you land, you can pull your glove down so that pulls your arm around. Not that effective in throwing hard, okay? You're having to do it that way because you're not moving fast enough. But when we start moving fast, we don't want to be using the glove side to create a lot of the trunk rotation speeds. We want to use the hip to shoulder separation to create it, right? We want to use the hips driving to create it. So you can see it landing, your pelvis rotation is barely moving. You can see right there, at landing your hips and shoulders are close. Elite guys at landing, their hips are open, their shoulders are closed. They're separating. So you'd see their pelvis rotation be like 700, 800, and the trunk rotation be waiting. And then they would go, and you can see here, see the middle line of the trunk and the pelvis? See how they're turning red? That means they're peaking together. We want to see this peak first, then the trunk to go. Because studies show the more hip to shoulder separation, the faster we can accelerate the trunk rotation, right? So also too, because they're going together, everything's so rotational, and you're just trying to continue to add to that rotation by leaning and pulling that way. So if you start pulling too hard that way, you start stopping momentum that way. And the thing is, that's where we want to push all the energy, right? So if I'm pulling all my energy over here and then just releasing what I have, it's taken away from the velo or the energy you could have put into the ball, right? So that's where what drives the linear energy is this getting linear, this getting extended, triple extension, to power the hip as this stays delayed, so that can then accelerate and translate that energy on top of that forward. Okay. So here's the thing. You got to improve the mobility, you got to improve the power so we can get in a better position. We got more power to move it correctly, and then we can start to change it in the delivery.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
It's that simple.
So just focus on agility and Olympic lifting then?
Yes. Well, you're going to be doing it all because you need a lot of mobility.
Yeah.
But the strength thing is you probably are going to be good at strength. Yeah. Don't overemphasize it. Overemphasize speed and agility, overemphasize the Olympic lifting. Okay. Problem is guys like you want to go in there and spend all day in your squats because you like them, but you're wasting your time. It's just not going to give you the same benefits if you're in your hang cleans, your power cleans, or your plyometrics, your ladders, your rapid response, whatever, Yeah. Cool. Let's keep getting the rest of your metrics, and then we're going to move on to training after lunch. So. Who we got next? Noah. Right? Yes, man. Did you get any? I've gotten this, but you got jumps and everything. Okay, good. So you're gonna warm up. When you're ready, I'm gonna take a side shot, and then I'm gonna take a behind shot.
Ready to go.
All right, so you'll come set, and I'll say go. So come set, go. Let me do another one. Come set, wait 1 second. Okay, do it, ready, come set, go. All right, good. Let me upload this, and I'm gonna do the behind shot.
Gotcha.
All right, it's uploading. I'm gonna do the same thing. You're gonna come set. Actually, you need the blue ball. We have the blue ball. Go down there and grab the blue ball. I think it's in the net somewhere. See it around there anywhere? Anybody see the blue ball? There it is. All right. All right, same thing, come set. I'll say go. Okay, on you, go. You what?
Filling up the zone today.
I like it. You you want to tag it on Instagram or no?
Yeah, 100%.
Do we have anybody on the feed? Alex? There's anybody on the stream or no? We need somebody doing play-by-play.
How do you open the bad boy? Perfect. Oh my.
It's all right. It's not the best.
Awesome.
Yeah, for some reason it doesn't. You might have. Does it turn and stick? There you go. It's fine though. Yeah. It drops all the way down. All right. So walk through your anatomy first. So this is your base level. Every evaluation, we need to build off of this, right? So right off the gate, real tight trunk rotation. So, you know, this is going to affect how well you can keep your trunk closed as your hips rotate. So ideally, we're trying to power as much hip to shoulder separation as you can. So we're trying to get the hips to pull as far away from the trunk as we can. So you're really restricted there. 45 degrees, that's below average. So that is going to be linked to thoracic mobility. There's going to be a lot of upper body strength that'll support that, a lot of core strength that'll support that. Dude, you're super tight.
Oh yeah.
Hip abduction, super tight. So that's this movement. That affects how much energy you can build before rotation. So ideally, I always say, we don't want to just open up, right? Because then when we go into rotation, we're translating energy, we're throwing.
Yep.
We want to stay closed so we can build energy before landing, then we translate it through rotation. So you're going to be tight in your lateral movement. So you're going to get cut off there. Your ankles are weak, we got to work on that. Your hip and turn rotation's weak. So if the femur is tight to turning in, it's going to affect how well the pelvis can fully open. High velocity pitchers open their pelvis more at landing. Hip flexion's tight, hip extension is tight. So all the movement that'll push the hips through, it'll allow the trunk to launch forward. Those are really super tight. Horizontal abduction is tight. Grip strength super weak. Like, man, we got a lot to do.
Oh yeah.
28-inch vertical jump is not too bad at being where your everything else is, but definitely can get better. And then look how much vertical you lose when you went to 225. You lost like 12 inches. And so you got to understand, when we put you under loads, we can't lose speed, because just the dynamics of moving and crashing into your front leg, you're dumping all these loads on your body, and you can't lose all your speed then. That's when you got to keep accelerating. So we got to get a lot stronger and more explosive. Your hip abduction's affecting your ratio between your linear to lateral broad. We need to improve that. Your knee strength is really weak on your Y balance. Dude, a lot we can improve. A lot we can improve, like significantly. Okay, but it's going to be a lot of work. All right, so let's see if we got something here. Okay, so here we go, coming out of leg lift. So coming out of leg lift, there's that hip abduction. You get right here. This thing is straight up and down, and it's already ready to open. Elite guys are like down here, shins linear. So when they open, boom, they can push all that force through their hip, through their lower half. So you're just opening, turning down, your heels popping up. That's just all rotation. You're able to stay somewhat closed. You just probably don't have a lot of pelvis rotation at this point, okay, at landing. So if we look at, say, here, you can see your pelvis rotation is not accurate. Like, it didn't even pick this up well. We're gonna have to do this one more time, but because the rig's not on here. I can upload another video. And then when you come out of shoulder rotation, so when I get the metrics, I'll be able to see this better. When you come out of shoulder rotation, you're not getting a lot of layback, which means there's really not a lot of forces moving through your body to load you back. And that's because if we're initially just so rotational, everything's rotational. Things that are rotational, they're not really forces pushing back against you. They're more forces dragging around you, right?
Yeah.
If I'm rotational, all my forces are like dragging around me. When I'm more linear, all my forces are pulling me back as I go forward. And that's where layback really comes from. So when we start getting more layback, it's because your lower half was building more linear forces to create that layback. It's because you can see it release. Everything's just pretty much very much up and down. Let me see why this didn't capture that. I'm gonna try another one. I'm gonna upload another one. See if we can get more metrics on that from you. I've actually never seen it not even put a rig on it. Like that, it was weird. Try the first one. The first one was just, yeah, it's fine. You still have your cleats on? Yeah. Warm back up. I'm going to get one more of you. No rush, just whenever you're ready.
All right, good to go.
All right, same thing. Come set, I'll say go. Come set. Go. Hey, go to commercial because I'm gonna go get a coffee. I'm gonna upload. TopVelocity was developed to.
Everyone who loves baseball ultimately dreams of having their own facility. The problem we found 99% of the time, they struggle keeping the doors open with the traditional model of cage space rental and lessons. But the main problem is that most facilities have no product. Players training with one coach, next year someone else, they have a different approach, so that's not always the most predictable. It's a little frustrating. We wanted to do better. We build relationships and products around something that is a system, and it's been the most complete product in the game for many years. We want to give business owners something to sell to the community that they can believe in, become a part of. We continue to push this industry to do better. We want to push our coaches to do better, and more importantly, with less injury and more understanding. So as our business models are established, a player at the age of 6, 7, 10 can get in and get started and prevent these injuries that are happening mid-year because they learned how to do things right at an earlier age. When they go through this program and things start to click for them again, just like we see with a lot of our major leaguers that come in, they always say, geez, just imagine if I had gotten this when I was 10, 12. This program is all about player development, just as much as it's about business development now. With our performance centers, we're able to take these advanced methods and bring them to a community, not only to build a business that is something that is built on a product, built on results, but also provide a course of study and a progression for a player. So with the TopVelocity Performance Center business model, this is something that an individual can easily produce a 6-figure income within the first year of them starting. You could put 5 different gyms in one city, and a TopVelocity gym is going to stand out. And the reason that it stands out is not only because of the results, but because of the culture and the community that we're trying to build. So let's get started today. Reach out to us, whether you're a team, coach, individual, facility. We have options to work with you and partner with the TopVelocity methods across the country.
Still going. All right. Who's next? What's up, man? You did.
Yep.
How many camps ago did you do?
I didn't go to a camp, but you showed me around.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I knew. I was like, man, I thought he had been to camp. I remember
Yeah,
now.
no.
All right. If you need any extra pitches, I still got to do a little walkthrough because I didn't get it fully on him.
Okay.
But if you want to throw right now and just get warm, it's up to you. But about 5 minutes, we'll go. You're from where again?
Spanish Fort.
Oh yeah.
Ball.
Now I remember.
Yeah.
Now I remember. Noah, I want to get it, see how it captures so I can show you some metrics.
Okay.
Because the metrics you need to see is where your hip rotation speeds were at landing, and then like your forward trunk at finish. I just want to show you some of those metrics.
Okay. Gotcha.
So if you can stay, Noah, you can stay over here. You can stay over here. I'm just waiting for it to finish up. You remind me of this dude. He came here. He went to UC Berkeley, and he pitched for them. You look a lot like him. He did really well at Berkeley too. He was a starter over there. That'd be a good school to go to, huh? No?
I'm not going to school. I'm not going back.
Oh yeah, you're right. You
It's indie ball and pro ball time.
Yeah, I know. But I'd go to Berkeley.
It's a very nice school, educational.
Yeah, I know. They're a little wacky over there, man.
Ooh, just a little bit. My buddy just graduated from
He did?
there. Oh yeah.
Did he like it or no?
He liked it except the people.
Yeah. All right, look, let's see if it got it. Oh, it got it. Yes.
Nice.
All right. So just quick walkthrough was showing you how at a leg lift, you can see your hip abduction tightness is affecting you here. Let me get that out of the way. Because right as you're opening, when I see the front foot opening and the back knee turning inward like that, and then the heel popping up, that means you're just basically, when the front side opened, your backside just followed. And that has to be the propeller of forces, because that's, if you think of the whip, and we're going to talk about the whip, the key to the whip is the handle. I got to grab the handle and I got to put some force into it, right?
Yeah.
Well, the only leverage you have in the kinetic chain is the back leg on the ground. So if you don't initiate the force there, then everything's just kind of overcompensating for that failure. So you can see it landing right here. See how the pelvis is red and the trunk is red? So they're peaking together. They have to peak separate. So if we look at it landing, pelvis rotation is below trunk rotation. At landing, you want pelvis rotation above trunk rotation.
Okay.
And that's where, if you don't drive and propel, that's not going to happen. Now everything's just going to come around together. Okay? So when it comes around together, you get a lot of linear rhythm. That was a little better forward finish there than the other one. But if we look at the trunk position at release, it's 12 degrees, which is better than most here, but it needs to be like 30 to 40.
Okay.
Because that means you're pumping a lot of force through your body.
Yeah.
But here's the thing you're up against. Major league players are 225. At the high A level, the average is probably more like 200. So you're 60 pounds behind where you need to be a pro athlete.
Yeah. This is my sheet, by the way.
Good call. You're 40 pounds behind where you got to be. Was a little better, 20 pounds behind. So you're 40 pounds where you got to be a pro ball player.
Yeah.
And I mean, all these elite metrics are gonna, now you got to take that 200-pound body and you got to pump more forces through it than what you're doing. So the thing is, like, if we don't get to 200 pounds, now you have to be even more explosive because you're dealing with a smaller mass.
Yeah.
So you got to put this in your brain because this is where you want to go. So we have to conquer all these mountains, right?
We're gonna do it.
All right.
Thanks, Brian.
And your video's still on, so.
Oh. Call.
All right, you ready? Do you know how many total we have today? All right, you ready? So I need a one side shot when you're ready. Can you go out of the stretch? It's just better for the video. Try just practice one out of the stretch. Heads up, Alex, heads up. Alex. You need another one, or are you ready? Okay, tell me when you're ready.
14.
Okay, here we go. Come set, and then I'm gonna say go. Okay. Yep, come set. Go. All right, I'm gonna do a behind shot too. I just need you to get the blue ball. Can you go down there and see, find it? It's blue seams. Alex, can you do an interview with him about his first day and what's his goals? You know, what was his first impression after his evaluation? Because we're going to show all that. Whatever you want to put in his file. This just needs to go in his file when we're ready to do a thing at the end of his progress. That's what we need to do. I'd like. Okay, you ready from behind? Well, I'll tell you when to wait up. I gotta get this up. You got the blue ball?
Yes,
All right, here we go. Come set. Actually, I need to move this weight up. Use that. All right. Come set. On you. You got Instagram?
No, sir.
Okay. Probably a good idea. Go grab that blue ball if you don't mind. Hey, you guys on YouTube, thanks for following, watching in. This is our first summer camp at TopVelocity. Pretty good turnout. We got camp next weekend. If you want more information on the camp, you go to topvelocity.org. We got a live and train option here. So a lot of guys are excited about the summer because they can come down and live and train here at TopVelocity and basically work through all these metrics, work through all the programming, and try to get to some big gains for the year. A lot of guys in here trying to go 90 to 95 this summer. Guys in here trying to go 80 to 85 this summer, 80 to 90 this summer. So it's fun, and you know, guys from all levels, all ages in here, all for the same purpose, helping each other through the system, through the program. You know, what makes TopVelocity fun and unique is that everyone in the facility is doing the same thing. Like, they're working through the same programming, they're working on the same principles. And that's huge because it creates a good culture, because then guys are not competing with each other. They are within their drills and exercises, but they're more helping each other because they all want to get to the same place. They all want to get gains. They want to develop, improve, and enhance what they came in with. So it's an exciting environment when you have everyone under a science-based umbrella, because that's what makes it principles. That's what gives you actual concrete evidence to build off of, as opposed to just theory and waiting for the coach to tell you what he thinks, because he's the one with the theory. So you got to make sure that the source point is always around you, because you have no idea what the foundation or the principles that make that theory up or how they work. So you're just waiting for him to give you a response. That's a tough thing. So in here, the guys just learn the core principles, and it's science, and it's logically makes sense, and then they start to apply it, and they see results, and then once they get it all in their head, they just take it out of here and keep going. You can't find it? Somebody help him find that blue ball.
All right, Iraq's saying he's in New Orleans area, and what's the best way on first step to getting that he's 60-year-old guy?
Yeah, he needs. You're lucky if you're close by, because most of the guys here are having to pay to fly down here, pay to lodge themselves down here. So you just need to sign up for the camp because you get full access to the program. So you have a training facility. I mean, you get full access to the program and the training. So you just need to sign up. TopVelocity.org. Horrible shot. All right, you want to film it, or is your dad here or no?
He isn't.
I'll film it for you. You can take it from me. All right, so let's just walk through your anatomy. You got the special sheet, the gold sheet. Going through your mobility, you want to see how this is going to be affecting your biomechanics. Let's see if your biomechanics are up yet. See if it actually captured it well. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I got it better there. Okay. All right, we can work with that. All right. Trunk rotation is a little tight. Pretty much common thing today, no mobility. You don't have any mobility. Okay. We got to work on you. I knew it when I first met you that day. I was like, I might even have mentioned you got a lot of mobility to work on.
Yeah.
But it's also coming from your lack of strength. So across the board, instead of sitting here breaking down why the mobility, because we're going to go over that after this, I just want you to know, trunk rotations, it's holding you back. Hip abduction, really holding you back. That's going to affect how you stride, how you separate. Ankle mobility, really poor. That means poor leg ground forces. Okay. Hip internal, really poor. That means your pelvis isn't going to want to rotate. Your hip flexion, you're going to have a hard time pushing your trunk forward. I mean, just you need to know this. You have some of the worst mobility in here.
Yes, sir. All right.
So that means you're going to have to really work hard on it, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're going to be the guy who's going to eventually teach them how to do mobility, because you got so good at it.
I have to do it all the time.
Yeah, right? You'll be that guy. Your grip strength is poor. Your total body strength, your overall strength wasn't too bad. Grip strength, upper body strength was poor. Look at this, 27-inch vertical jump, 144. We put you at 225, which is a lot of weight, lost a lot of your ability to jump. The reason we do it 225, that's the major league average. So if I put you at the major league average body weight, you lose like 15 inches of your vert, right? So it shows you the amount of force production you need to get to be at that elite level.
I need to double.
You know,
Yeah.
Right. So instead of just going through this needs to get so much better, and that's going to be holding you back here. So here's the thing. As much as I just tore you up in here, it's going to be the same tear up in here because if this is not good, then that can't be good. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So you can't sit here and obsess about your mechanics when you know your body is struggling to move well.
Body's not in the position.
Right. So coming out of leg lift, just going to hit some core principles here. I mean, I see you doing the best you can with your body. You're cocking your arm a little early. I don't know who taught you that, but you're cocking your arm too early. You're trying to be too aggressive in flexion. Your arm's got to stay relaxed. It does need to get into a good flex position at landing, a loaded position, but you kind of overdo that. So you need to kind of just chill out with your arm and work on your lower half right now, because as you go into landing, your back leg is just collapsing because of all this tightness and stuff. It's literally just collapsing.
Okay.
So now what happens when you collapse your back leg, you don't have any pelvis power at all. Your pelvis is barely moving. And the pelvis is supposed to be propelling your rotational forces at landing. I do like how close you are. I think you do that well. I think you're still too tense in here.
Okay.
And that's probably because your arm has to overwork because you don't have a lot of forces moving up. And then when you get to layback, at layback, at external rotation, your forward trunk is minus 8 degrees. So you're minus 8 degrees back at external rotation. When your arm loads, you're minus 8 degrees. An elite guy would be 30 to 40 degrees forward.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So that's how much more dynamic your body's going to have to move to start throwing hard.
Yes, sir.
and then you finish pretty much straight up stuck behind your front leg as opposed to getting over your front leg. So here's the thing. This is going to dramatically change when this dramatically changes. So if we evaluate in 2 months and we don't see dramatic changes, we're not going to see dramatic changes.
There. All right.
So right now it's a total body transformation for you, and that's not just going to happen for you showing up a couple hours a day or 3 hours a day.
No.
That's going to show up because this is going to happen because you want to work on this obsessively, because you think about it all the time, because you're focusing on your diet to get your body mass up, to help with your strength. You're focused on your sleep so you can recover because you're beating yourself down every day to do this. That's what it's going to take make a transformation here and make a transformation there. And then you're a guy who goes 65 to 85 in one summer.
Okay.
It's very possible, but that's a massive amount of work.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, sir. Is that it?
Yeah, we're with you.
All right.
But the point is you have so many things to accomplish here.
Okay.
You have a laundry list
All right,
of things
I'll
to
do it.
accomplish here. So don't walk out of here like I had a few things. No, you have so many things here to accomplish, which is good,
Yeah.
because that's why you're going to be a 20-mile-an-hour gain.
Yeah.
Everyone else is going for 5 to 10. You're going to go 20,
Yeah. I got to work on everything.
right?
All right.
So it's going to be impressive, but you got a lot of work.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right, keep in your measurements. Who's up now? Come on over. Come on down.
Bro, I have a question.
Yeah.
He says, my kid is 15 years old. He's good, but he's not great. Is this too much for someone like him, or this is really for very advanced players?
Throw my medals on.
Yeah, go ahead, put them on. No, it's good. It's for someone who wants to live a dream or, see what their potential is in the game. That's what it is. We're trying to give a kid every tool possible to help them peak or optimize their potential before their career is over. So, this is just the way I was. I was a guy, I loved this so much. I tore my rotator cuff at 18. I just wanted any chance. If someone could give me every understanding of what it would take to get the best out of my ability, that's what I needed, and I got kind of later in the game, but it gave me a chance to play pro ball. I wish that on every kid, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give all these tools to a young kid who still has time and who isn't destroyed and injured, or they are, we're trying to help them out of an injury so they can see what they're truly capable of. And so if your 15-year-old is that kid, he just loves his game and he wants to play it at the highest level, then this is perfect for him because it's helping him in every aspect of what it takes to be successful. All right, go ahead. Tell me when you're ready. Just start warming up. Raise your hand if you haven't pitched yet. Okay.
Cisco. Go ahead.
What time is it right now? Do you know? Time?
What time what?
Time is it right now?
It's 11, 15.
15? Have we gotten all the measurements or no? Damn, I'm way behind. But he has time to do that right now. Hey, Francisco, we really need to get all that arm care data in. We have another hour and a half till I'm done. Whenever you're ready, let me know. Go. He said it wasn't. Have they done it or not?
He said he will try to get 4, at least 4.
I'm gonna do one from behind. Let me upload this one first. Okay, it's uploading. Once it says uploaded, then we're gonna do a behind shot.
Okay.
Hey, just do your best to help him on that.
So how many phones we have? So we can do like, how many arm care do you have?
Oh, you can pull out another one. How many does he need?
I don't know, if we can do 3 at a time.
Yeah, he could do 3 at a time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think he has 2 back there, but you can grab another one in that little showcase thing. Okay, let's do a behind shot. Okay, come set on me. On you, go. Dude, popped an 87, bro. Damn, but I didn't get it with the ball. Let's do another one with the ball, but I'm gonna save this one. That was pretty good. What's the highest you've been?
88.
Okay. You wanna tag it on Instagram or no?
Yeah.
What is it?
Tyler. Just Tyler Dirocco, D-I-R-O-C-C-O.
What's your nickname?
That's my what?
You have a nickname?
No. They call me D-Rock, but...
That's what it is. Someone on the stream the other day said, "Where's D-Rock?" And I'm like, "Who is D-Rock?"
my friend from home.
I was like, what is he talking about? Okay, wait up. You got the blue ball? All right. Okay, on you, go. Let's go get it. Let's do another one. Same thing, come set on you. Tyler, and then what is it?
Dirocco. D-I-R-O-C-C-O.
Right there.
Yeah.
All right. If you have a camera and you want to film it, you can. We're going to analyze it right now. Whoever's next, you can come up here and warm up if you're ready. Okay, you ready? Let's see if this is up. All right, I'm gonna start over here. Ready? All right, so going through your anatomy first. Look how much trunk rotation on your left side is tight. I wonder, you got some spinal issues. The other thing I've noticed is you roll over your upper spine. It can be hard on your arm. You ever had any arm issues?
Yeah, I have, but I kind of just rest.
Where are the issues in the shoulder?
I had a lot of bicep pain, and then
Yeah.
this winter I had kind of elbow pain.
Okay.
I just rest.
So if you're too if you're too internally rotated here, when you lift up, the bicep tendon goes under there, and then it impinges right here on that bone. So you need to work on. Are you mom?
No.
Oh, you're with that mom. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know if he was here. So you need to work on keeping the chin in, right, and this back.
Okay.
So chin in and this back, because the more you're protracted or retracted and externally rotated here, the less you're going to be pushing down. So now when you go up, you're not going to have that as much pinching, which then will refer into the bicep.
Okay.
Is it high in your bicep or low in
It
your
was, like,
bicep? Yeah.
And then right in the middle. Just
Yeah,
about.
because it's coming from up here. It's like referring it down, because the tendon of the bicep goes all the way into the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to really be careful in these positions. You got to be more in this position and this position. Okay. So and we got to work on that trunk rotation balance. Hip abduction's tight, ankles are tight. It's just the underlying theme today. Everything is tight on you. We've got a lot of tight guys in here. So, and two, you not a lot of strength. I think for you, you look pretty lean. Like you should have more strength in your body than that. Specifically upper body strength. That's really weak. Okay, you're 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to be a lot stronger than that. So we got to develop a lot of strength. Overall speed isn't the best. Your verts are great. It's crazy how your vert is 34 inches, but your 10 yards is 1.7.
I only ran one, so my knee was kind of.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right. So once again, I think you need to talk to Dr. Pat on spinal alignment. You're kyphotic. We've got to work on your posture, because it causes all these breakdowns in your kinetic chain.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Knee,
Yeah.
elbow.
I always would try to do like a ton of rhomboid work.
Yeah.
To like pull back a little.
But it's not so much that. It's like right now, it all starts here. So Dr. Pat will show you how if you don't put this in good curvature, then everything else starts to try to overcompensate.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to talk to Dr. Pat a lot about your spine, because it's causing a lot of your problems, and it's causing a lot of your immobility. It just affects the kinetic chain across the board. So we're going to go through what all this means, but right now, I just want you to understand your mobility across the board needs to get better. Your strength is below average. That needs to get better. And it needs to become explosive strength. Well, I mean, you had a good vert, good broad. So you know what probably is just going to help with you right now is overall strength, specifically upper body strength. Two, a lot of your forearm is going to be because that's too weak. So if the force is on, you don't even have enough strength to really stabilize against mid 80s or upper 80s. Be honest, if I got your upper body strength higher, you would throw 90 plus just off that. So we need to work on total body strength and mobility and sequencing this up better. And I think you'll be there because you got good speed in your body. Just putting more strength with it and mobility with it, I think gets you consistently in the 90s.
Okay.
So let's go through this. But definitely posture is where we start. So the foundation of strength needs to be in posture. You need to get better at posture. But if you see here, good load. I like how you sit, but you're letting your lift leg pull away too early. It's literally starting to reach. So this needs to be the propeller. So if this is like reaching out, it starts pulling the load off your back leg.
Okay.
you create, like for example, you jump high because you throw your forces down into your legs. So if I'm gonna try to drive hard, I've gotta keep my forces in my leg. If I'm pulling it out of my leg by transferring early, it's gonna kill the forces that I can create. So then what happens is you're just kind of, see your heel coming up? It's literally just collapsing because your lift leg got too far away. So now at landing, your pelvis rotation is dead. There's literally no pelvis rotation because you went down where you were ready to propel, but this got so far away it just collapsed. Now there's no power in rotation, and that's significant to creating a lot of velocity.
So would a key with that be like, is that almost overstriding in a way? Or?
Well, to me, overstriding, people can call it overstriding, but it doesn't really define what needs to happen. You don't need to understride now. You need to not let your lift leg get away from your body. You need to keep your lift leg close to you and allow this to create the forward propulsion. You let this reach out and pull you away. You can call it overstriding, but the result, like I said, the improvement's not understriding. The improvement is not letting this shift your weight, keeping this close and allowing this strictly to create the forward momentum.
So completely drive off the back leg and then...
No front leg reach, no front leg to pull you around. The front leg cannot do any of that.
So like a complete, this would stay closed until you're done driving with the back leg and then...
It literally, because no, it always stays close. This always stays close. Look what, if I just kept this here, watch this. So the point is this is always gonna be here. So if I'm pitching like this, it's gonna land there. This is just gonna swing it around and now it's like this. Okay. So this can't do anything. It literally cannot do that. It has to stay here. This is doing the work. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so what you're doing is you're disrupting that by letting this come out here, and it doesn't work that way. So at landing, so now you have your front side swinging open. So now everything just wants to spin around your front leg. So you can see, everything swings around your front leg and you finish like this. As opposed to this is shut off, and this is propelling, and this is delaying, now this is gonna wanna follow that energy. And then if you took like an elite guy here, at this position, really lay back, you're at 1 degree forward. He'd be 30 degrees forward. He'd have an extended front leg. His chunk would be popping out, boom, because all that energy's hitting his leg and shooting through. All your energy's hitting the leg and it's just spinning around like that. So just imagine when you hold this back, you propel all your energy, and then all this translates that energy forward.
Is that like a lot of like glute med, like strengthening and stuff like that?
Right, and you don't have a lot of hip abduction, you don't have a lot of hip extension, so a lot of your tightness is not allowing you to get to a position here that you can drive out of. You don't have the mobility to drive out of that position. So you gotta build the room, you gotta open the room, and then you gotta build you have the power, so right now you gotta give it the room, and then you gotta train the front leg to shut off and the back leg to propel. And then all of a sudden, everything starts changing. The energy starts accelerating up better.
So, upper body strength, closed front leg. What's the third one?
And it's in maximum power backside and optimizing hip to shoulder separation. So at landing, see how these are turning red together?
Yeah.
This has to turn red first, then that. So in shutting the front leg off and propelling the back leg better, you've got to optimize hip to shoulder separation. You got to get to the point where at landing, your pelvis rotation's above your torso rotation. And then at maximum rotation, now it's decelling and your trunk rotation is at peak. So you're trying to carry your trunk rotation as far out as possible, but your hip rotation, you're trying to peak just after landing. And the more you create that separation, the harder you're gonna push energy up.
So mobility is gonna help?
Mobility is gonna give you room to do it. And then now, because you have good power, then you just gotta time it and start to change the mechanics with the mobility to then get the better sequencing to release.
Okay.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Think like your spin and everything you have good spin. Everything looks good in your spin. So I think your release point and all that is great. I think you can build pitches off of that. Right now, that gets you over 90, and that's where you want to be. But to get your mobility better and to get your strength better, you're going to have to work on your posture. That should be the center point of all of that.
Okay, so you think that's the number one problem right now? Posture?
Yeah, posture. Well, the point is that will help you attack your mobility and your strength, is focusing on your posture.
Okay.
And it'll help your health too.
Because you
All right.
said I don't got the mobility to drive out of the position.
Well, the point is why are you doing this when you have so much power in your body? It's because there's probably tightness in that hip, and therefore you feel stuck. So you're going somewhere else to move you.
Okay. All right.
So the point is test the experiment, improve this,
Yeah.
and fix that, and see what happens. And the point is, when you improve this, you should be able to fix this. If you don't improve this, you're probably not going to be able to fix that. All right, you ready? So I need one side shot and then the back shot. Stretch is the best. You getting to know all these boys? That's our team mom right there. So. Oh, thank you. You ready? You ready? Okay, come set, I'll say go. 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 Okay, I'm gonna upload this and then we're gonna do a shot from behind. Yeah. Oh, get the blue ball. Go. Can y'all, somebody find the blue ball in there? Francisco, can we pick all that up? Yeah, I guess after this pitch, we'll pick it up. How's he going with the arm care stuff? He doesn't need you? He doesn't need you on the arm care stuff? Elijah on the arm care?
I told him on the phone, but he said
Okay.
no, we'll see.
Okay. Almost there. Once it's uploaded, then we'll go. Okay, you ready? Come set, on you, go. It wasn't too bad, it was just kind of inside. You want to post it, you want to put it on your Instagram or no?
Let me just see one more time. Shoot, you mind if can I get another one?
Yeah. Go ahead, grab that blue ball again. Hey, he wants another one. Can you get him that blue ball? Okay, you ready? On you, go. I didn't even see it. Where'd it go? I'll do another one. Go get another one. He wants another one. All right, go ahead. On you. Yep. give him one more. Go get it. I'm not posting that one. That was your worst one. Come on. You got to just sit longer. Don't rush. Sit longer. Go. There you go. You didn't even pick up your pitch. I think you got it. You didn't come set, but it was all right.
I didn't use that blue ball.
Oh, you didn't use the blue?
He was throwing me the red ball.
Hey, you didn't throw him a blue ball. Go again. I need that blue
that's a good
ball.
one.
I know. He needs the blue ball. Well, do it again, man. Sit. Remember, sit longer. Go. All right, I need y'all working together better. We need blue balls here. So look, when you break your hands, you sit. If you try to rush, everything just goes. On you go. One more, come on. We're going to be here all day until he gets it. You got to focus in. The body's simple. If you just look at something and you put your intention to go there, you'll get it. Let's go. We can take it. But why is it not picking it up? Here, give me the blue ball. Just make sure when you come set that you don't move the ball around. You gotta like pause. So you gotta come set and pause and then go. It'll pick it up. All right, you ready? Go. Finally, yeah. We got it. You want to tag it?
Yeah.
Who's up next? If you want, you can come up here and warm up while we're breaking it down. You don't have to rush. Did it come up or no? You got to do it at. It's funny when I got to teach the young kids how to use Instagram. Like, no, it's like this.
Oh my gosh. Sure. Oh, it's not.
You're going to close it? Hey guys, appreciate y'all following at TopVelocity. TopVelocity.org is more information on the camp. We'll try to do more live streams for you guys. If you have any requests for other things, put it on the comments here. Let us know what you'd like to see. We'll see you next time. TopVelocity was developed to provide a better method, a science-based method of training that would have the complete understanding, the complete package of not just increasing performance and velocity, but doing it with health as a huge focus. You know, people give me a hard time about Olympic lifting because it's like an advanced form of lifting. And when I say advanced, meaning like it's highly technical. There's no better lifts in the weight room to develop the coordination and the ability to put your body in the correct sequence, the correct position to get to a maximum force production. So I developed the 2-pound med ball drills because I needed to, for me personally, when I was coming back from my injury, I needed to recruit more of my body and less of my arm. Now you're starting to recruit the legs better, the core better, the trunk better, and now you have to get good at, driving forces out of the ground, sequencing the hips and shoulders to get the energy to the arm, because the arm can't do it. So biomechanical analysis is a huge part of this, along with the evaluations of the athlete. We have to measure the joint mobility. We have to measure the athleticism, the jumps, the sprints, the strength. So we could sit here and debate what's the better exercises, what's the better training, but what's really hard to debate is the end result. It's more than just throwing 95 or 100. It's about the metrics that create that, and the metrics come from the body and then come from the body's movements. Here at TopVelocity, we have more 90-mile-an-hour testimonials than any other program in the world.
And now you know why.